Hey guys, it's Go Do Your Own Research. I thought I'd jump on and do a live stream. We are in the middle of the final pre-trial conference hearing. It's being live tweeted before the actual trial. So I was like, you know what? I've never done this before. I've never done a live stream of a hearing being tweeted, and this could be my last opportunity before the trial starts. So why not? So yeah, it started an hour ago, and also I've had a lot going on, so I've been trying to like update the tweets and do other stuff, but I've got a minute, so I'm going to quickly run through what's being said so far. So this is being live tweeted from the SDNY court by Inner City Press, aka Matthew Russell Lee. So he said, "All rise, Judge Lehman, we're here for a pre-trial conference on the issue of experts and damages. Let's start with Ms. Lively's experts and about social media." So I've already been obviously watching it, looking at it, and they're talking a lot about the Alexander Culotta report that I literally did 2 live streams about, so I'm pretty well informed on it. And from what I could see, the Wayfarer side are trying to dismiss this report and have it excluded as evidence. Right, so all rise. Sorry, I just read that. Ms. Alexander, let me hear from defendants. Wayfarer lawyer. He doesn't say which lawyer's speaking, by the way. Ms. Lively's expert is pure speculation. Wayfarer lawyer. Ms. Lively's liquor brand was only around a day before the alleged retaliation campaign, so it is speculation. Her expert didn't speak with Deloitte. I think that's like an advertising marketing org, official org, pretty big corporate name. Betty B's projections were they own to raise funding. The expert's book speaks to this. Wayfarer's lawyer again. Betty Buzz did not succeed for reasons that have nothing to do with the defendants. She has a track record of brands not succeeding. Her expert, Mr. Jeffrey H. Kinrich, didn't even consider or know this about Lol Hatter. She may not have standing. Judge, isn't she claiming lost profits? Wayfarer's lawyer, people don't like the companies because people didn't like Ms. Lively. She switched to, it harms my business reputation. The case law is clear, lost profits as a shareholder, no standing. Wayfarer's lawyer again. Ms. Lively's expert, Richard Marks, says she is going to end $132 million in 5 years, but she's only made just over $20 million on only 4 movies. He claims there is a sequel to It Ends With Us. It's never going to happen. Wayfarer's lawyer. Executives at Sony said that she was a terrorist, so this sequel was not going to happen. Mr. Marks claims it would be a blockbuster, but he's no expert on that. He corroborated his findings with statements of her agent and manager. It's unrealistic. I just wanted to say, Baldoni thought, well, Wayfarer thought they were worth $400 million. What successful product launches has he done? I'm just trying to give some balance, because another reason why I want to do this live stream is because everyone in the comments on Twitter, including Andy Signal, is tweeting against Blake Lively, pro Baldoni side. Wayfarer's lawyer again. Executives at Sony said that she was a terrorist, so this sequel not going to happen. Mr. Mark claims it would be a blockbuster, but he's no expert on that. He corroborated his findings with statements of her agent and manager. It's unrealistic. Wayfarer's lawyer. Ms. Lively has only a sporadic work history, 4 movies in 8 years. She's had 4 kids. Mr. Marks projects here working around the clock. Judge. Okay, you've got 3 minutes for rebuttal. Counsel for Lively's lawyer. She seeks economic and non-economic. Lively's lawyer. Her hair care line. Mr. Kinrich compared it to other comparable companies. Ms. Lively already has a large following, 40 million followers. I think it was up to that. We can't predict the future, but there are real-world facts. Lively's lawyer. The product made 7 million and exceeded the expectations. Judge Lehman. I don't read it that way. Lively's lawyer. There are always some discrepancies. It wasn't widely off the mark. We allege retaliation started August 10th. The few days are key. We've got someone in the chat. It's Kayla Clark. Woo! I know it's early probably for you, but listen, I just had to go with the flow, you know. I guess I did know this hearing was on today, but I hadn't like registered it or anything. So I saw it was happening. I thought, why not? Why not jump on a live? And hopefully the signal is going to be better than it was on Sunday, because that really messed with my streaming rate. Okay. Yeah, so I saw people were arguing in the comments of that last tweet. The one about how many followers that she had, saying, well, that doesn't mean all those people are going to buy her product. No, but it means a few of them will, for sure. Lively's lawyer. This is a company Ms. Lively invested herself into for 7 years, wiped out in days due to this conduct. Even if the court finds that Ms. Lively cannot recover economic damages directly, reputational harm doesn't require a calculation. I really think they argue things so well. Like, that sounds like a solid legal argument to me. Just got 6 comments. I'm not going to go into the comments. Obviously, when the trial's on, there's going to be a lot of gaps between each post. So I'll have a lot more time to go over what these idiots are saying in comments. Lively's lawyer. The jury has to have some basis to estimate the reputational harm. These are product lines that were based off her line. The beverage line. The harm is direct evidence of the value to her reputation. Judge Lehman. You've got 2 minutes. Lively's lawyer. Mr. Marks, he bases his opinion on a lengthy history of Ms. Lively's earnings. Based on the success of It Ends With Us, it would have opened new opportunities. Right? She proved herself with her decisions on that movie. This is what everyone that supports Baldoni refuses to acknowledge. It was her decisions that made the movie the success that it was. Mainly Taylor Swift being on the soundtrack. He has 50 years of industry experience. Judge Lehman, was it a blockbuster success? Lively's lawyer. That's up to the jury. The expert is not required to say. I mean, I would say, what was it, 350 or 150 million? Kind of was pretty successful, considering it was a low budget. He identified the maximum number of opportunities for an actress of her stature. The jury would decide there would be no sequel. There's evidence Mr. Baldoni wanted her to direct it. Yeah, that's why he said it on an interview, because he was being fake positive. Lively's lawyer, she has a 20-year track record. 20-year track record wiped out in a few days. More opportunities should have been available to her. Mr. Mark's opinion should be admitted. Wayfarer's lawyer, the burden is on Ms. Lively, and she had failed. She is seeking pie in the sky damages. I mean, I'm guessing they put an estimation together based on actual figures. Judge Lehman, okay, next Dober argument. Now, confession here, disclosure, I don't actually know what the Dober argument is off the top of my head, but I'm learning all this stuff as I go along. Wayfarer's second lawyer. Her experts say they detected manipulation of social media, but the measurements are not probative of anything relevant in the case. I'll start with Culotta. Judge Lehman, you seek exclusion? Yes. So they're trying to get Culotta's very extensive report and evidence tossed out. Wayfarer's second lawyer. Ms. Lively's expert relies on TikTok comment scores. It's not probative. Every single ratio or metric is not probative. We already know, because we read through it for a good 2 to 3 hours, that it doesn't just rely on TikTok comment scores. That was one part of it. And there are further reports, which I haven't even read out yet, because there's not enough hours in the day. Anyway, let me carry on reading what they were saying in court. Judge Lehman, let's focus on TikTok. Do you dispute he has offered enough evidence? Wayfarer's second lawyer, we do dispute it. And furthermore, their expert analysis report was, I mean, let's not even go there, with that woman that they got off a kind of a call out. A call out on Instagram or something. Judge, he says there were an unusual under of likes on the comments rather than the post. Wayfarer's second lawyer, unusual doesn't mean inauthentic. Users sometimes react unusually to celebrity feuds. Yes, but it wasn't a real celebrity feud, Wayfarer's second lawyer. This is what they're contesting. He focused on certain hashtags with the top comment score elevated. Personally, I thought he showed very clearly how there was a complete imbalance on the comments getting more engagement than the actual video. Let me go back to my chat. You're skeptical of inner city press. I mean, when I was reading this earlier, I was like, why does it feel like he posts all of the Wayfarer's lawyers' arguments much more than what we hear on Lively's side? But that could just be me. It doesn't really matter. Like, what goes on in the court is what goes on in the court, regardless of whether he tweets it or not. He's like the Twitter version on Law and Crime Network, and I think his background in law lends more credibility than what's owed. Unfortunately, he is the only option we have. But to say that he's non-biased, I have definitely had to review my opinion on that, because he's clearly leans into his following, which is people like Andy Signal and a whole bunch of other people on there who are constantly up his arse, blowing smoke up his arse about how wonderful he is. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and not get too affected by what or how he says things, but appreciate that that's all we have. Didn't Wayfarer's own report, despite its flaws, also conclude an abnormal spike in negative sentiment around July, August? Wayfarer's own report, if I remember correctly, showed that their highest spike was due to the article about Justin Baldoni hiring Melissa Nathan tag PR. I'm glad that the court isn't televising proceedings as well, to be fair. It is a circus. And you know what? Doing all of this commentary and all this analysis that I've been doing lately, it's really got me thinking about this, about how much is okay. Because really and truly, like, it is a bit of a circus. And it's like, I think that's why I didn't make content about this for so long, because it was like, well, there was nothing to say for me. But then when I started like hearing about sourced intelligence and all these private investigators and the other kind of bits and pieces that came to light, I guess I started to make more content about it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a very real situation going on, and I definitely don't want to be contributing towards the kind of circus side of it, which obviously happened in the Johnny Depp case. A lot of audience feels a sense of entitlement around celebrities and it being in the public courthouse. Yeah, I mean, some of the people on Twitter clearly have an intense disliking for Blake Lively. I can't imagine disliking her to that extent, given I just don't think she's really done anything to warrant that level of disgust. Like, she's kind of just kept herself to herself. Like, you could, like I said at the beginning, like, she's kind of cheesy, but she doesn't get involved in politics. Actually, let me carry on, because they're going to start talking about, apparently she was bullying Kate Middleton, yeah? And I'm like, Andy Signal's got the cheek to be tweeting about her being a bully. It's unreal. And thank you for saying that. I do try and look at the bigger picture. I do try and give a fair reading to everything I say. I genuinely do. Like, I always, if I say I'm open, if I've made a mistake and I've said something wrong, please correct me. I will stand corrected happily. But yeah, I mean, I feel like literally I'm the only person that's actually out here tweeting or posting from a different perspective on this right now. I'm sure Andy Signal's getting ready for his next live stream as we speak, as they all are. There'll be a flush of them tonight. Saying how badly it's gone for Blake Lively, obviously. Right. Wayfarer's second lawyer, Judge Engelmeyer of this court in 2020, said the courtroom is not the place for innovation, for example, on measuring social media manipulation. Funny they say that now. The Premier showed the rift with Mr. Baldoni excluded. Again, debatable, fully debatable. She launched her hair care brand. That was already scheduled. Wasn't her fault that the premiere of the film got delayed. Wayfarer's second lawyer, Ms. Lively, was criticised for, during the launch of a film about domestic violence, promoting her alcohol brand and her husband's gin brand. The gin brand, I specifically remember, was being talked about, and being that talking point was being highlighted by Shusty Fleur and her boyfriend Magnus. There was his superhero film. Yes. I think it's totally normal that for him to have such a huge brand as clearly Deadpool is, that he's gonna help his wife. Like, why not? Professor Maislin ignores all of this. It is not a discontinuity design. Wayfarer's second lawyer, Professor Maislin's use of artificial intelligence incorrectly classified many posts. The model misunderstood her instructions. It picked up posts that were negative about anyone, not just Ms. Lively. She used GPT-4. It has been criticized. I mean, again, I think you'll find, Wayfarer's second lawyer, that was the problem with your report. I personally feel like language learning model analysis is full of mistakes. The amount of times I do a search online and the AI analysis is incorrect in reference to not just this case, Michael Jackson, um, Bill Cosby. It told me the other day that none of Bill Cosby's victims were underage. That's not accurate. That's not factual. But anyway, let me not get too distracted. Wayfarer's second lawyer, she certainly did not look through 1.1 million posts. That's a good point. I mean, how else are you supposed to do analysis without some kind of artificial help? So her report relies on AI. It should be excluded. She aggregates allegedly actionable and non-actionable posts. Problem is, Wayfarer's second lawyer, there's lots of other stuff they have to go with the report. That's just adding. And also, I mean, it was extremely extensive. I genuinely think it wasn't just AI. They didn't just rely on AI. Judge Lehman, 1 minute from the 12-minute mark. Judge Lehman, I'll hear from your adversary, Lively's lawyer. Dr. Culotta, my friend objects to the case law. Your Honor has addressed this in USA versus Ray. I didn't really understand what that was about, but he posted a quick link to another case that he's obviously covered. So that was the other thing I was going to say, yeah, is when I was looking at all, so you can see all the comments, they're all posting links to their own videos to cite evidence to support whatever Baldoni's lawyer argues. It's wild. I wouldn't even think about doing that, but self-promotion, we're all about the self-promotion. Lively's lawyer, nefarious actors engage in algorithmic and manipulation. Jed Wallace enters the chat. Judge Lehman, any more studies? Lively's lawyer, just the 3. We have a wealth of material from the defendants that Mr. Wallace was engaged in manipulating the comment sections. That part. It all goes together. You can't have one without the other to argue this case fairly. Lively's lawyer, initially 1.7 of the audience engaged with the anti-Blake Lively comments. Then it went up to 22%. It is indicative of Judge Lehman, indicative. Lively's lawyer, he does not try to show causation. Judge Lehman, maybe mass audience developed a negative view of Miss Lively. Lively's lawyer, why only in August of 2024? There was a video, then a comment that her husband wrote whole scenes. It got more engagement. There is evidence of Jed Wallace and Ryan Reynolds. That's what I'm saying. You've literally got conversations where she's discussing it with not only her own team internally, but the journalist that was responsible for most of those articles. James Vatushka. Lively's lawyer. Dr. Culotta has an opinion about YouTube. Comments through YouTube API about the little bump. He tracked bully related posts. There were 14 before August 14th, then 700 after. This is the temporal fingerprint useful to the jury. This is the thing, yeah? Because I'm trying to be objective. It's not about what I think or what the other people think. The point is that there's a jury that has to be shown evidence to decide. It backs it's useful to the jury, their report is what he's saying. How can you explain 14 to 700 after one day, August 14th, the day she posted that video, or the video went viral? I'm not sure exactly. I have to go back over my video to get my dates correct. James only wrote 96 articles. He's barely commented on Lively. Okay, but didn't he say something like there was 1,000? And also, I mean, he said about the Taylor Swift one, I think he was like feeling a bit FOMO because the articles were getting so many hits, and he was like, I'm not doing, I need more exclusives. Tell me more about Taylor Swift. And then he was the one trying to latch onto the Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were invested in the movie rumor, and the feud in the beginning, and the breaking the strike, the scab story that we know came from Baldoni. It's incredible how Reynolds is being hated for believing his wife. He's supposed to air her out to dry so he doesn't hurt some guy's feelings, right? I'm like, look, I've said this so many times, like, I'm not a particular fan of either of them. But I did watch a little bit of what he said the other day. And I'm like, fair play. He said, I'm incredibly proud of my wife. I'm standing by her. Like, that's what you're meant to do as a healthy relationship, husband and wife. He's not been out here every minute, like, saying derogatory stuff. They just, like, from what I see, it seems like they're just cracking on. And this is so much to deal with. It's so much to deal with. Like, I found it intense, and I have nothing to do with it. So I can't even imagine what it's like for them and how they block it out. Candace Owens was able to briefly widen her audience because of Blake Lively, but dropped the ball by the Schizo Curve series. Well, I'm actually in the middle of making a video. My next video is about Andy Signal. I've decided to go there because I'm like, the story needs to be told cohesively. I never realized, but I've put it all together, his literal exact history and how it relates to using Margaret audiences and how he got to go viral. Because I've got my own little theory there. James was complaining to Nathan he only wrote 96 articles. Right. An obscene amount. It is an obscene amount. And they refer to Blake Lively as a bully. That's the thing I can't get my head around. I'm like, when does quote unquote journalism turn into harassment? How many articles do you think are acceptable before it's you're clearly not reporting, you're clearly chasing clicks and views. Like, not that deep. And then the other thing that I think doesn't get said enough is the audiences need to take some kind of responsibility. This is what I've been checking myself about, because I'm like, yeah, I've really started looking at it in a different way. Like, people are hungry for an update. That's why you click on a video and it's like, maybe there isn't an update. It's just you're thinking there's going to be an update. So you clicked on the video. And that literally allows for a landscape where people just make shit up because they're filling airtime. Oh, 1 second. I got a phone call. This is what happens when you go live. Oh my God, sorry. I hope you didn't click off. Right. I'm so sorry about that. It was my daughter. Right. Lively's lawyer, Professor Maislin, says the use of AI is accepted. She had a trained model that was classifying the post. The errors impacted less than 1%. She conceded this conceded this and called it acceptable. As to Alexander, there is a new declaration on April 24th. Of course, they were all mocking that in the comments. Lively's lawyer. Ms. Lively would be prejudiced if Professor Alexander is allowed to testify without us being able to depose and test her since her change. She admits it was backward. Her corrected data. Judge Lehman, you're out of time. Finish your sentence. Lively's lawyer should be excluded. Wayfarer second lawyer. Plaintiff's counsel claims these negative themes were absent before April 2024. Ms. Lively was called a bully, bullying Princess Catherine before. Professor Maislin admitted TikTok data is not reliable. No, it's not. But I mean, these figures were so, what's the word I'm looking for? The difference, the contrast is so noticeable. It counts for a lot. And I think there's so much in the report that explains the landscape of social media. Like, for example, what we learned about the Reddit being upvoted. Like they said, if a Reddit post is upvoted immediately, as soon as it's posted, that literally helps it do so much better. Or if it's downvoted, same thing. You know, how is the jury going to know that without the report being presented? And this guy's like a professor of AI. Like, he literally understands it, whether it's reliable or not. We can only hope that he's just going to be honest about it. Right, I just wanted to show this quickly. See if it comes up. Probably. Oh no, that was a bad idea. I wanted to show Andy Signal tweeting about having the cheek to tweet about can I go? Oh, maybe I can't go with it. Okay, well, maybe it's best you don't see it. But yeah, he's literally got the cheek to be tweeting about Blake Lively being a bully towards Princess Kate, which, I mean, I know it went a bit far, but there was genuinely something going on there. There was genuinely something going on there. And he's literally got a whole channel dedicated to bullying Meghan Markle called Popcorn Palace. The guy's a definition of hypocrisy. Judge Lehman, and on Alexander, Wayfarer's second lawyer, it was only an error in the data file. It was not covered in the deposition. So we corrected it. Judge Lehman. Now, on the admissibility of evidence of the Wayfarer parties, lawyer suit as retaliation. Wayfarer's third lawyer. You see what I mean? I don't know. It just feels to me, I get this sense that like we're hearing a lot more on the Wayfarer's side than we are on the Lively side. Don't know if it's deliberate or not. He's very well trained at doing this stuff by now. Wayfarer's third lawyer. The complaint was dismissed, but not as frivolous. The court said there was powerful evidence that Ms. Lively provided her California complaint to the NYT before she filed it. The dismissal is based on an unpublished California case. Yeah, so this is where they're arguing about the NYT article being a smear campaign. Which, either way, it still doesn't unprove that they didn't retaliate. Wayfarer's third lawyer. I want to touch on the Rule 11 issue. Judge Lehman, I don't think you need to spend much time on that. Wayfarer's third lawyer, Mr. Friedman's comments. Mr. Friedman he comes up in so many legal cases at the moment. It's wild. Mr. Friedman's comments were made after the filing of Ms. Lively's claim. They are entitled to the same protection. Lively's lawyer. Ms. Lively was privileged not only to file her complaint, but also to speak about it. Judge Lehman, there is evidence on both sides. Lively's lawyer, California law prohibits them from filing a defamation suit about a CRD complaint. Again, there was someone in the comments saying, oh, California law is so insane. I mean, it is a bit, but what's the point of having legal protection law if you can't file a CRD complaint? Honestly, do me a favor. And also, like, seriously, I really want you to watch this Andy Signor video, because you wouldn't believe it, but that's what he filed for when he got fired from his job for sexual harassment. Don't know, is anyone tweeting him about that? Judge Lehman, if I accepted your position, would have a right to argue at trial that Ms. Lively is a liar, that she propagated something knowing it was false. Lively's lawyer, we'd be fine with that. Yeah, prove that, bitches. But the court has already ruled on some claims. Judge Lehman, I ruled on technical grounds. That's the thing you've always got to remember. This is all about technical grounds, all of it. They still have an appeal. Lively's lawyer, that's why this issue is teed up for the court on a motion. It's for the court to decide if Ms. Lively's CRD complaint and her public comments were made without malice. Guarantee there will be an appeal. Although interesting, there wasn't a refiling of the defamation suit. Lively's lawyer, our 47.1 motion says they used their lawsuit to cause reputational damages. Judge Lehman, would that be subject to a retaliation lawsuit? Lively lawyer, the Bill Johnson case of the Supreme Court says there is an impact on an individual's reputation. I hate it when they cite these other cases. Judge Lehman, haven't you talked yourself into Mr. Friedman's statements being excludable? Lively's lawyer, Ms. Humphrey's report goes to this. Judge Lehman, you're changing your course, it seems to me. Let me hear from your adversary. Wayfarer's lawyer, this was fair game. Of course, any defendant can defend themselves in a counterclaim. I am confused by Mr. Gottlieb's statements. He seems to argue that a defendant cannot defend their case under 47.1. Rule 11 has a different standard. Judge Lehman, let me hear on bifurcation. Where do they get these words from? Lively's lawyer, Mr. Sarowitz, spoke of spending $100 million on this. Even if Ms. Lively was not aware of other people's experience, it still goes to reasonableness. There's the Mendoza case. Judge Lehman, I'm aware of it. Wayfarer's lawyer, Mr. Sarowitz is no longer a defendant in this case. His personal wealth is now irrelevant. If plaintiff would like to argue that resources were spent in defending, would Mr. Reynolds' wealth be relevant? Punitive damages should be bifurcated. So it's not relevant that he said, I'll spend $100 million to ruin her and her family. I don't think anything like that came out of Ryan Reynolds' mouth. He did say Baldoni was a predator, but I don't see any lies there from basically what's come out in evidence of this case. Also, I just think it's really interesting, yeah, because I'm not being funny, but I could literally do a comparison of Andy Signal being fired from his job for sexual harassment and Justin Baldoni being fired from his job for sexual harassment. Because in both cases, yeah, the people that got, well, what's his name? Andy Signal filed a suit against the company that owned his company and said there wasn't a proper investigation. However, all the people that made sexual harassment complaints were complaining that nothing was being done about it. And in the case of Baldoni, they refused to have a investigation. They took steps to not have an investigation. But yeah, what I was going to say is, if the company that Andy Signal worked for, yeah, thought, well, we don't think there's anything in this, why would they have fired him? Do you know what I mean? Like they tried to make out that it was because of public opinion and people tweeting and people making allegations that got them fired, where in reality, and I'm talking about, I'm comparing it to like Baldoni's agency dropping him when the article came out. Maybe they just thought to themselves, yeah, we don't really want anything to do with this guy anymore because because we already know what they're saying is true. I just think it's like, especially in the case of Baldoni, when you look at it, it's like the girls that were speaking out, like they were really, really junior positions in the company. And he's acting like they had more influence than him. Ultimately, it happened just after Me Too. So the company was like, yeah, this is a bad look for us. The same way that Baldoni's agency, it's what I'm trying to say is like, to say that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively controlled them because they alleged that he was a predator. If they didn't think there was anything in it, then they probably would have ignored it. Okay, we've had a break. This was 17 minutes ago, so we're nearly kind of up to speed. Judge Lehman, I'm thinking of next week having a hearing with 3 of the expert witnesses, 1 hour of cross and 1 hour of direct on each of them. Let me know on their availability. Maislin, Culotta, and Alexander, Judge Lehman, yes. Oh my gosh. I wonder if that will be live. Lively's lawyer, we'd like to seal the birth video. Wayfarer's lawyer, we don't see a need to seal. It's Mr. Heath. Judge Lehman, so it's resolved. Any third parties have privacy interests other than what Mr. Wallace has said? Meet and confer? Wait, what? I need to see what's being said about this. Hang on a minute. Look, it doesn't matter what is said. These people in the comments will always come up with something. Lol, we'd like to seal a video because my client was making up shit. Send her to the mental asylum already. But you don't like her because she's a bully? Do me a favor. Why does she want it sealed now? It wouldn't matter. If she said she wanted it sealed, they're coming up with this. If she didn't want it sealed, she's invading their privacy. Because the evidence doesn't back up her claims. The claim was she was handed a video of a woman naked giving birth, and she thought, and he was in it, and she thought it was a porn video. Like, that was all that she said. Stick to the facts, people. She didn't have time to watch the whole video. She didn't say she watched the whole video. She just said she thought she was being shown porn, because she'd already said she didn't ever watch porn, and Justin Baldoni had announced that in front of the whole crew. Pardon my ignorance, but what does Judge Lehman means? English is not my first language. Oh, you're in the wrong place. Interesting that Lively wants to seal the birth video, but Wayfarer doesn't see the need to seal it. I'm sure there was quite a lot of arguing about whether they wanted it to be put in as evidence, wasn't there? Or am I misremembering? Personally, I'm allowed to have personal opinions. I think he substituted a different video from the one that she was shown. Well, maybe they've got strong enough arguments without this video to being shown, because it is only a tiny part of it, of their overall case, I mean. My speculation, Lively wants it sealed to create the impression that it was possibly pornographic or explicit. Wayfarer doesn't want it sealed because it is innocent and doesn't show any. Why would you put that? Why would you type that out? Lawyered up. You're a lawyer? Or you're just called lawyered up? My God. Oh, this person does a lot of tweeting. Oh, what an interesting twist. Now Lively wants to seal a non-party's birth video that she subpoenaed to claim she was shown corn, but Wayfarer is like, no need. Because it makes her look like a monster. How does it make her look like a monster? You all need to get your flipping heads examined. He thought it was appropriate to show a video of his naked wife in one of the most intimate situations you can go through as a woman. You're never more vulnerable than giving birth. Jesus. I'm sorry. I don't care what religion you are, what planet you're on. It ain't normal to show that to someone who you barely know. This was on day 2 of filming. Even someone you do know, you'd be like, do you mind me showing you this video? Right. Let's go back to the tweeting. Judge Lehman, how much time will each side need? Lively's lawyer, 15 trial days. Oh my gosh. There goes my life. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do every day. Judge Lehman, well, defense? Wayfarer's lawyer, we asked for equal time. We are trying to get a stipulation that might shorten it. We are headed to the airport. Headed to the airport? Oh my God, there he is. Look. There he is. Right, so these were the replies to the bullying comment, to Blake Lively being a bully to Kate Middleton. So glad he knows about her bullying Kate Middleton, March 2024. Who? Judge Lehman? A perfect example of organic backlash due to her stupid choices. No, no way. I didn't know Blake Lively had bullied Kate Middleton. I doubt if the amount of people that is going to be shown in the expert report did either. Thank you, says Andy Signor, all caps. She was a bully since Gossip Girl for the way she treated her cast. And yes, she was such a bully to Princess Catherine. She had to apologise. And that also in 2024. He's such a dickhead. I really can't. I could never be on Twitter. Flipping out. Okay, let me go back to the tweeting. I think I've messed up. Sorry, guys, I've lost my place because I was looking at the comments. My bad. Right, let's get back down to it. What I'll probably have to do when I do this live is I'll have to have like 2 screens open, and then I won't have to click off to look at comments or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, we read Sarowitz. How much time? 15 days. Judge Lehman. I am working hard on the motion in limine. I'll address other issues at the end of the Dober hearing. Anything more now? Counsel. We'd like to have prosecutive jurors answer on hardship even before they come in. Judge Subramanian did it in Coons. Say no more. Imagine. Justin Baldoni. Sean Diddy Coons. Lively's lawyer. Some prospective jurors may be passive participants in the conduct alleged here. If they answer in front of others, it could infect the jury. Infect the jury? Is that an actual thing? Judge Lehman, hard for me to imagine anyone today other than a federal judge not using social media. Good point, Judge Lehman. What you'll see if you go on social media is an overwhelming amount of content against Blake Lively. Even recently, I noticed a new surge of it. It really shows me who people really are, to be fair, when I see them making videos about it. I'm like, oh, okay, I thought you were one of them. Now I know. Dr. Culotta, this was a comment from this idiot, Castle Broadview. Dr. Culotta doesn't seem to understand that a content creator's curated base audience would behave differently than a newly arriving audience who landed on the video because they searched a trending popular culture topic in YouTube. So maybe Shusty's subscribers were less engaged at the moment, 1.7 to someone else's lead than the people who lead themselves to a topic they were currently interested in, 22%. Yeah, good luck with that argument, Castle Broadview, because I think what the expert is going to show is that the activity was genuinely Inorganic. I see what you're trying to do there, though. And like these people are so delusional. Lol, my client wanted to gaslight the entire world with her fake online media and smear campaign. So can we find people who never saw it? What smear campaign is there against Justin Baldoni? It's me. I'm the Justin Baldoni smear campaign. Okay, there's a couple of others. There's a couple of others. Oh my God, what? Her lawyers did not really just accuse jurors of being passive participants in the alleged conduct. I knew it. Team Lively is going to end up subpoenaing the social media accounts of jurors. I mean, what are the chances? Don't F with justice. You say you want justice, yeah? Don't F with justice. Isn't that about transparency? Transparency and nothing to hide if you want actual justice? What would be the chances of someone on the jury having something to do with one of the Wayfarer parties on a scale of 1 to 10? Be honest. I'd say it was pretty high. Hey, Kelly. Okay, the tweets are slowing down now, so. Oh my God, sorry, there's more people in the chat. I've missed the whole load of conversation. I definitely agree. More states should prohibit filming defamation lawsuits against accusers before their accusations have been settled in court. Oh, right. Okay. The joke Blake made about Princess Kate's Photoshop blunder was tame. I just thought it was genuinely was actually deciphered as Photoshop. Like, there's no way that photo was real. Not in a million years. The one with the daffodils? How the hell are you going to label that as bullying? Somehow she's never seen corn but knows what it is. Okay, Zane 8701. Guess what, Zane 87101? I haven't seen a lot of CORN in my life, but I definitely know what it is. Unfortunately. I don't know what you're talking about. How do you know? She got all her birth videos from all births and uncut footage. Don't know what you're talking about. You don't have to watch, right? Literally, pretty much, unless you live in a. I was going to say if you live in a nunnery, but even then you're going to know what it is. Like, literally, you can't help knowing what that is in this day and age. Why are you shouting, Zane? Just talk normally. I know I was getting a bit heated earlier, but we just try and have calm conversations in our live chats. That part. No decision she makes. It's like whatever she says, they go against it. I mean, how many times do we have to repeat this? He showed the video the day after the birth scene was filmed. Even so, his personal video was unnecessary to show. Exactly. In one of the hearings they tried to frame it. Their legal argument, the way they tried to frame it, was that it was a creative decision discussion. They had finished filming it. It wasn't a or like, let me just make a logical conclusion here, Zane. How about you take this on board? The previous day, she'd filmed the birth scene, yeah. And I know you all want to argue that that little strip of fabric meant she wasn't naked, but in her contract, the birth scene wasn't included in her nudity rider because it wasn't meant to be, she wasn't meant to be nude. Okay? So when she gets onto the table and she realizes she's got to sit there naked from the waist down or whatever it was, with a bit of fabric covering her nun, she was having a bit of a, and I mean, it wasn't even a meltdown because there's no evidence she had a meltdown. She was questioning it, saying, why would I be naked? They wanted to argue that it was normal to be naked in the delivery room, which, okay, maybe some people do it, but it certainly isn't the norm. So they showed the video to be like, oh, this is my wife. This is how my wife gives birth naked, just so you know. Like, why would she want to know that? Has nothing to do with the film. But you all keep making your little excuses up. Thank you, Kelly. I don't know whether you're saying the video was shown. Let me just get this straight. The video was shown after they filmed the birthing scene because she wasn't meant to be naked for the birthing scene. Okay, so she's not a big bully, by the way. You know who is a big bully? Andy Signal. So why don't you go and watch him? Or even listen, this whole thing about bullying, yeah. I'm not a fan of Justin Baldoni, but I'm not that kind of person. Like, I literally wouldn't waste my time going over to comment on one of his videos or anyone that supports him, to be fair. I'm just here doing my little thing over here. Let me see if there's any more updates. Anyone that argues that Shusty Floor isn't a bully, sorry, you need to go and you need to go and reevaluate your life. Okay, I think we've got to the end. Wayfarer's lawyer. Why are we only hearing this now? These questions are too detailed. We can meet and confer. Judge Lehman. I am not unaware that this case has generated some interest. Oh my God. Judge Lehman's definitely been affected by it. They all went and posted on his brother's Instagram. Do you think his brother said anything to him about it? Or commented on his Instagram, I should say. I'd rather question the prospective jurors in person. Okay, it's been a long day. Adjourned. That's it. That's the end of the live tweeting, I think. Yes. Then there's a little thing for Inner City's press. Inner City Press's PayPal account. Remember, all these people are getting paid off of covering this. And I know I have my little QR code up there. If you want to make a donation, I would happily accept it. But I don't really make any money off of this Late Lively coverage. It gets my lowest engagement, to be honest with you. Because I'm not doing commentary on the popular side. Right. They uploaded commentary about Judge Lehman to the docket. Oh my God. He knows they've been talking smack about him too. I mean, yeah, I keep remembering to myself the judge has to be fair. Like he only sees it. The reason why they're a judge, although look, I'm not being funny. There's a lot of corrupt judges out there, but the reason why they're supposed to be there is they're supposed to be looking at everything from a legal argument perspective. That's what they make their rulings on. It's not about who's in the right and who's in the wrong at the end of the day. All right, guys, I'm going to end it. Thank you so much for joining. It's been fun, actually. Looking forward to, well, May 18th, isn't it? Let's hope it stays on track. And in the meantime, like I said, I'm working on a Andy Signal, everything you need to know series. I'm actually going to make it as a series because I've finished I've just about finished part 1. I just thinking whether I should upload it now or I don't know. Anyway, I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. Have a lovely evening. See ya.